Hello, my name is Hannah, and I am joined by my partner Katrina, and we are representing OG Consulting Group. Today, we are presenting on intercultural communications in the country of Colombia.
Hello, my name is Katrina, and thank you for taking the time to go through this training. The goal of this informational video is to grow cross-cultural awareness through efficient intercultural training. We will identify the cultural norms you should be aware of and share proper etiquette in Colombia. We hope we can assist our North American workers as they make the transition to life in Colombia. Our focus will be on verbal and nonverbal communication styles, enculturation, and we will conclude with the application of these standards in a professional business setting.
Colombia is the fifth largest country in South America and is the only South American country with both Caribbean and Pacific coastlines. Colombia also shares a border with 5 other countries. The official language is Spanish, spoken by most of the population. However, English has official status in the Colombian island territories in the Caribbean. There are 50 million people in this country, and Colombia does not have an official religion. However, Roman Catholicism is the most prominent faith and is deeply culturally pervasive. The largest age demographic here is made up of 25 to 55-year-olds and represents 45% of the population. The Colombian economy is heavily dependent on oil and mining exports, making it vulnerable to the price fluctuations in commodity goods. Colombia is the world's 4th largest coal producer, 3rd largest coffee exporter, and 2nd largest cut flowers exporter. Economic growth here has been hard in the past due to the high frequency of narco trafficking, civil conflict, and the effects that has on a population.
Given the extreme geographical makeup of Colombia, communication and travel can be very difficult and therefore fosters regionalism. Folkloric carnivals and religious celebrations are a few of the events that really bring the Colombian people together. The Carnaval de Negros y Blancos is one of the largest in Colombia and attracts the largest crowds. This 5-day celebration of color and fun is commemorative of the day that African slaves brought to Colombia were granted their freedom. It symbolizes equality for all people and races. Colombia is also represented through a large indigenous population, with around 87 different tribes speaking roughly 65 different languages. This country is the second most ethnically diverse country in the Americas. When it comes to universal beliefs in Colombia, there is extreme value placed on the family unit. Sundays for Colombians are strictly family days, meaning plans with friends will be turned down. These days are spent preparing and sharing meals and enjoying the whole day to catch up. Colombians are generally very optimistic and proud people. They have often been described as charismatic, animated, and cheerful. They value working hard and playing hard, and their notorious rumbero spirit encapsulates most Colombians' view on how life should be lived. Typically, Colombian people are a collectivist society and prefer belonging to groups. They have one of the lowest individual scores in the world, second to Ecuador. With a score of 67, Colombia scores high on the Power Distance Index. The people have accepted that inequalities are simply a fact of life that applies to all the layers within Colombian society.
Most Colombians practice indirect, high-context communication styles, meaning there is often more emphasis on how you say things and not what the actual message is trying to convey. Colombians prefer saving face over being blunt in most cases. Having a high-context communication preference also means that personal relationships are crucial. Being that Colombians are an animated people, it is not uncommon for conversations and meetings to be held at a high volume. There are different forms of expression in Spanish that communicate varying levels of courtesy and formality. This is important to be aware of. In terms of nonverbal communication, the Colombian people have less strict concepts on personal space. Physical touch is commonly shown to reinforce camaraderie and to show deep appreciation when appropriate. Eye contact is normal and expected. In fact, averting another person's gaze may imply guilt or dislike. Pointing and beckoning are also considered rude in Colombian culture. Colombians enjoy meaningful greetings, and it is socially considerate to use a kind greeting before asking a question. Small talk is common and shows interest, which goes a long way in building relationships. It is important to spend appropriate time studying local terminology, as inappropriate use can sometimes come off as offensive. One common phrase used in Colombia is "que más," which to any entry-level Spanish speaker appears to read, "What's more?" It is actually an endearing way of saying "what's up" between close family and friends. And of course, thank you, muchas gracias, is always polite and reflects appropriate gratitude. The people in Colombia tend to acknowledge effort over accuracy, and as long as they feel as though you are trying, they will do their best to communicate and make it work.
Fascinating cities, colorful pueblos, stunning national parks, and picturesque beaches. Colombia has so much to offer. Colombia's tourism industry has grown by over 300% since 2010. About 60% of that travel is vacation related, and the other 40% is business related. This country is full of hidden gems that range from the Caribbean coastline to the edge of the Amazon. The high elevation capital city of Bogota is a bustling place with plenty to see. From the business districts to the stunning historic buildings lining the narrow streets of the old town, it is a great place to start in Colombia. Many of the large cities are filled with unique shopping and dining experiences. There are 51 national parks in Colombia, making it a great destination for hikers and climbers. Colombia is very passionate about sports, especially soccer. The Colombian national soccer team is known for having one of the most passionate and invested fan bases on the planet. Other sports that are culturally pertinent in Colombia are tejo, an extreme take on the game of horseshoes and bullfighting. The music and dance genres have a lot of crossovers in style. For example, some of the most common music you will hear is salsa music, accompanied frequently by salsa dancing. Cumbia is another popular music and dance genre that originates in the Caribbean regions. We will now share with you more about the business customs in Colombia.
The average workday in Colombia runs from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and punctuality is very important. This conveys respect for the other person's time and attention. Colombian professionals also dress to impress. In a business setting, the attire is almost always formal. It is also important to address people with their appropriate titles and wait for the other party to initiate a transition to a first name basis. Handshakes are common when making introductions, and keep in mind, turning off your phone before going into a meeting is expected. You can also expect most meetings to start with a fair amount of small talk and Colombian coffee. Oftentimes, the outline of a meeting is a starting point, but topics and issues are addressed as they come up. Meetings can be very long, and it is crucial that you are open and honest with your business partners from the beginning. Basic Spanish language skills will get you a lot farther, along with having common knowledge of the culture and knowing what to avoid is key. Make sure to avoid all cultural and political stereotypes during business meetings. Negotiations can take a long time, so it is important to remain patient. In Colombia, business is seldom done over the phone or email, and face-to-face conversation is always preferred. Finding success for your business in Colombia really comes down to building relationships and establishing rapport within your industry.
To conclude, some of the key objectives in Colombian culture is through their communication style, decision-making processes, dynamic conflict style, and lastly, their personal relationships. The United States' direct style of communication differs greatly from the indirect style used in Colombia. Decision-making processes are quite hierarchical, therefore, you must remain patient and courteous in business dealings. Disagreements may not be made explicitly clear during meetings. The relationship will always be more important. Building personal relationships plays a huge role in Colombian culture. It is important to remain open and transparent. By doing this, your level of charisma will often determine the level of trust that is shared between parties.
Here are our references. Thank you for your time and good luck.